Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Daily's 2A News. Today we're going to be talking about how everybody's trying to cancel Joe Rogan. It's just not going to happen. Let's talk about it. Okay, so Joe Rogan, he seems to be this controversial figure. In my mind, I don't see him as being that controversial at all. He just talks about topics that a lot of people are interested in and might have a different opinion than most. Maybe he just has a different opinion than a few, but usually it's the few that make the biggest noise about it. So Joe Rogan talks about a lot of different stuff on his podcast and touches on a lot of different topics, but it's the more recent topics that he's been talking about lately that have really set people off. And now you have, well, basically people attacking Spotify for hosting Joe Rogan. Now, Joe Rogan gets 11 million listens per episode. That is an insane number. That is so many people tuning in that it's actually higher ratings than a lot of TV shows that are running today. There are some TV shows that don't even get close to that 11 million per episode watch mark, but he does. Why does he get those views? Well, because people want to know what he's going to say next. It doesn't matter if you agree with him. It doesn't matter if you disagree with him. You just want to know what the guy's going to say next. That has made him really popular. That's a formula that's been used in the past. For instance, Howard Stern back in the days. There was a lot of people that really disliked Howard Stern, but they wanted to hear what Howard Stern would say next. And so that kind of leads to popularity. Now, the interesting thing about Howard Stern back then and conservatives kind of, going after him for the things that he was doing, being, so out there with stuff versus today is that the situation is kind of flipped. Now it's people who are liberal going after Joe Rogan for a lot of the conservative stuff that he's doing. So again, the narrative has somewhat flipped. But here is the thing, okay? It doesn't matter how many big celebrities, how many royals, how many musicians, artists, old rock stars or, hippies decide that they're going to pull their stuff from Spotify in order to get Joe Rogan canceled. It doesn't matter how many. And I'll tell you why. Because that guy is a self-sustaining machine. Okay, like him or not, that doesn't matter. He's a self-sustaining machine. So wherever he ends up going, even if, let's say, Spotify does completely cancel him and he moves off to another platform, or he maybe creates his own website and allows people a subscription service to go listen to it over there or something like that, those 11 million people are going to follow, if not more. So what you're really doing is you're essentially just taking them away from one thing and putting them onto another. It's too big to stop at some point. Now, from what I understand, he's getting $20 million a year from Spotify. The reason he's getting that much money from Spotify is because he's bringing Spotify more than that, right? They're only going to pay him a fraction of what they're actually receiving in either revenue or new subscribers or listeners. So they're only going to pay him a fraction. So the amount of money that Spotify is getting from that is much, much higher than the 20 million that Joe Rogan is getting. So it's just kind of like a juggernaut moving forward at this point. But the problem is that really it comes down to a First Amendment issue. Now, I understand that private companies, private businesses all have a right to make their own rules and regulate things in the way that they see fit. But lately, it seems like if you have a differing opinion from one certain group to another, then they'll just try and take you off of those platforms completely and try and silence you and take you out of the public square. Because the public square has moved from a public square to online. The online forums, the online web hosts and services, just like Spotify, those have now become the public forum. So when you're listening to a podcast or something, or you're getting your news online, or you're reading something, again, the public forum has moved online. And so now, with that happening, you can control people's First Amendment rights essentially by removing them from the public forum. That's where I have the problem. You can essentially stop someone's First Amendment rights nowadays just by simply removing them from the internet. If you're able to do that, they don't have a public voice anymore because that's where everybody goes. So I hear a lot of people say, well, these companies have the right to make whatever rules they want. Maybe so, okay? Maybe so right now, but should that stand? I don't think so, because again, I think that public forum, that public square has moved, and rights need to be protected now online on these different forums so that this type of thing doesn't happen. We all have different opinions. We all have different views. We all look at things from a different lens. Every one of us has a different life experience. And so when you see somebody like him that might be talking about one thing, and it's usually an expert on his show, that's what always gets me, right? He talks about his opinion, but he always brings on an expert. And the expert in that field is always somebody of high stature who really has some type of involvement directly in exactly what they're going to be talking about that day. But still, even though he brings on that expert, and the person that maybe created something or did something in that field that gives them that type of credibility, even though he brings that person on, they still say that it's, that he's giving misinformation. That's basically what they're going after. And I don't know about you, but I don't remember that ever becoming a crime. Having an opinion is not a crime. You can have whatever opinion you want, and you should be able to talk about your opinion. But the fact that nowadays, unless you follow the narrative and you have a different opinion than the narrative, then that's enough to get you taken out of the public square. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. But again, like I said before, they can't. He's just too big. So, there's a lot of people that are worried that Spotify is going to cave, that they're going to cave, they're going to take him off, and what are people going to do? There's nothing to worry about. He's too big. He's got enough of a listener base wherever he moves, whatever he decides to do, wherever he goes, people are just going to follow. So it doesn't matter if even he got removed from Spotify. It's just going to be another platform, and that other platform is going to reap the benefits that Spotify once had, and that's going to be the end of that. That'll take away all that stuff from Spotify, and now you got all these old rockers that are going to be coming back, bringing in a fraction of the amount that Joe Rogan was. So it's a really interesting battle that we're seeing play out here. Again, we have somebody who is willing to voice their opinions. I don't always agree with Joe Rogan and some of the opinions that he has, but it doesn't matter. I will support him because I believe it's his First Amendment right to have that opinion. And so, even somebody on the left, if they want to push their own opinion, they want to talk about their own thing, that's fine. I'll support it. First Amendment right is for all Americans. But with that being said, they should support the other side as well. So I'm interested to see how this plays out, but I think that either way, Spotify loses in this situation. If they keep him and lose a bunch of other people, it's, they're still losing. If they lose him but keep those other people, they're still losing. So basically, it's Spotify that's getting the most push here from people, and hopefully they stand strong and they don't get so woke that they cancel Joe Rogan, and that'll be that. So anyway, wanted to talk to you guys about that. Thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit that little bell notification. Have a great day.